morning, my brothers and sisters. On this episode number 186 of the Good Morning Guy podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on the fine morning, after evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life. If it's the other game we love to watch and play.
And
All
of our listeners.
What in the heck happened there?
You told me to do it that way.
Oh, man.
I heard you. We might not have recorded it, but it was there. I said challenge accepted, and I didn't look back.
Can't back down from a triple dog there.
That's right. All right, for real this time. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this.
Yeah, it kind of broke up.
Dang it! Did we break up? All right, third time's the charm.
So I'm gonna.
All right. Hold on. I just gotta adjust the rotary girder here.
All right, so I'm gonna keep this for the video portion.
Just keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it all.
For those YouTube watchers, you're in for a treat.
We've actually been up in views lately. Like I don't know what's happened, but more people have been watching. So
sweet.
But
all right.
Without further ado, let's try that again.
Shake it off.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this episode number 186 of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and to play. I'm one of your four hosts, the Brazilian Mountaineer and Transition Ninja, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the judge, the jury, and the executioner of fake news and spoilers, Patrick Nervicel.
What is happening tonight?
I don't know. At this point, why are you surprised?
I don't know. The way you said 186, I mean, I could see like somewhere there was a dog tilting its head to the side.
6? Not on Patrick's left nor my right, and only with us in spirit, the Rocket League and Beast of the East, who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, or your money back, Ronnie Johantis.
Well, where is he?
Hi. He said
Where
hi.
is he? Oh.
He's at home.
He's not on my left nor my right. That's sad.
That is correct. I
gotta celebrate my fiance's birthday.
I got things to do.
I got life.
And last, but certainly never least, the final member of the GMG Quadfecta who's got music in his heart, Apex Legends on his brain, and La Carreta in his old estomago, Marc Boucher.
You know, sadly enough, have not had much Apex on the brain.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. Like, I don't know if Apex Legends is on your brain anymore.
I don't think I've played for about like a month and a half, something like that.
All right, updating it now. What should it be? Should I go back to Doctor Who? Should
I think it's Zelda or Link.
Zelda?
Here,
all right.
So, yeah, you could put Zelda. You could also put Moon Knight, because I'm super excited for that coming out on Wednesday.
Oh,
yeah, that won't last all year though. I don't know if Moon Knight's going to have the longevity that Zelda will.
That's fair.
So I could say, what if I said Hyrule on his brain?
There you go.
That would cover Zelda and Link. I feel like they're like, yin and yang. They're like they're a unit. So Hyrule is the combination of the two. Hyrule on his brain.
However you want to do it.
Tune in next week, folks. I'll likely say whatever I want, and it'll be none of the things we discussed.
And it'll most likely be the wrong thing.
That's right. Yep. I'll just go with it, or I'll just say Apex again, and I'll forget to update it, and it'll be this all over again.
It's 100% possible.
Yeah, it is 100% possible. But you're gonna have to tune in next week to find out if it's 70% of the time, all the time possible.
Dun dun dun.
Patrick.
Hey,
save us from this burning truck.
Please
garbage
start
truck
talking.
on fire. Please talk. Share your update, my friend. What's been going on, dude? You're looking happy.
Yeah. I mean, like,
are you faking it till you make it?
No, it's been pretty nice. My daughter had her quote unquote birthday party yesterday. So
tell us about it.
So she's like, hey, I don't want presents. I just want money. I don't want a party, but I want family over. I don't want cake, but I also want cake. I don't want birthday candles,
what?
but
How
I
does
want
that work?
birthday candles.
I don't want cake,
So
but I want cake. How does that
it
work?
was like, so she didn't want it to be a birthday party. She's like, it's her 12th birthday, and she's like, I just want it to be a regular day, and but I mean, people were calling it a celebration, but it was like there's presents, cake, food, a gathering. There were drinks, there was food. I mean, like it's a birthday party.
Gotcha.
But we weren't allowed to call it a birthday party. It was a celebration.
It was just a
Yes.
get together.
It is a celebration of her full rotation around the sun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like all girls, they want to make a weekend out of it. So for her on Friday night, she had a sleepover. So she had some friends come over on Friday night, and there she got 4 friends over. So 4 11 and 12-year-old girls in the house. I have never felt so out of place in my entire life than Friday night.
Buddy, you know how much you were not out of place, because in the Southern Hemisphere, I was doing the exact same thing.
You were having a slumber party?
I was there were 11 and 12-year-old girls in my house that were louder than anything I've ever heard in my life, giggling nonstop. And I was like, what is happening?
I tried to watch a show, and I was like, I can't even hear anything on the TV.
No.
So it's like, I guess I'm gonna read or just like peruse Twitter or something like that, because I couldn't hear anything.
Mindy and I were naturally trying to go to the opposite side of the house. Wherever they were, we would go to the opposite. And eventually we made our way to the front of the yard and hung out with Rayla. 20 minutes.
Last safe haven.
Yeah. And then mosquitoes started eating us, and we fled back to the house.
I don't think I can hear them anymore. I think we're far enough away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they commandeered the man cave. So I was not only what did we have 5, 11, and 12-year-old girls, I did not have my gaming systems to game while they were
very much
over.
not a man cave at that point.
Time stood still.
No, yeah. So while they were in the man cave,
5 minutes felt like an hour.
Yeah, I was like, what do I do? So I had I watched a couple movies. I watched this movie called Dog with Channing Tatum, and it's just about he is a former Army Ranger, and one of his fellow Rangers had died in battle, and then he had a German Shepherd. I think it was a German Shepherd, that he had to drive like 1,500 miles to his funeral. So it was just him and this dog, and it was kind of like, like Castaway with Tom Hanks talking to a volleyball. Basically, that's what it was Channing Tatum talking to his dog.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, and it was good. I mean, I liked it. I mean, nothing like, I wouldn't say anything was revolutionary in there. I mean, it was a nice time. I would probably, it was a 7 out of 10 movie. Nothing too.
Not every movie needs to be like like an Oscar winner.
I enjoyed it. And then so I was like, well, it's like only 11 o'clock. And I'm like, maybe I'll just watch another movie. So I turned on the Johnny Knoxville movie, and that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like for 20 years ago, when I was in high school and college, I'm like, okay, this is my zone. But now I'm like, you know what? This is I don't know if I've graduated from that kind of humor, or I just don't get it anymore. So that was awful. It wasn't a movie. It was just clips.
You've grown together. You've grown beyond it. It's just in life, you've matured, whatever you want to call it.
It's just like, it's not that funny to see people beat the crap out of each other and torture themselves. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who will still very much enjoy that, but like, to me, like, it's just uncomfortable a lot of times watching.
Very uncomfortable. There was a one of the bits where they had like I guess like helmets over each other, and then they were sitting across from each other. Both of them had helmets, and then there was a long tube that connected their helmets. And in the middle of the long tube was an opening, and they put a tarantula spider, some sort of spider, in the middle of there, and then they were trying to blow into this tube to get the spider to go on the other side. It was just like stuff like that. I'm like, this is really, I don't mean, like, what is
Yeah.
this? So I was I think we turned it on and we were in the opening credits. Mel and I were in the opening credits, and what 12-15 seconds in, and I'm like, wait, what is that? She's like, you cannot watch this. With no one's be allowed to come over to our house anymore if they walked in to what we were watching for that movie. So it was one of those things. I had to wait till the girls were all downstairs to watch it. But yeah, 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. Yeah, probably 5 out of 10. I think they're they should have left it in the past. This movie was way past its prime, way past its due. So yeah, and then on the gaming front, been playing WWE 2K22.
Yeah,
That
baby.
game has been life for me right now, and right now it is in the top 10 most played games on PlayStation for me
Wow.
already.
Dang.
Yeah,
Dang.
Skyrocketed up there.
I put in 68 hours of it so far, and yeah, so it's in the top 10. So to get into the top 10, I need to play like 60 to 70 hours. I think when I looked, I have like almost 2,000 hours in Apex.
Challenge accepted.
I have 300 something hours in Red Dead Redemption 2, and then 300 something hours in Overwatch. So those are the top 3 games, and they are the top 3 by far. Well, hold on. I think also Injustice, I have Injustice 2. I have over 300 hours. But yeah, those to get to the top 5, it's gonna take some time. Do I think WWE can get in the top 5? Most likely, because I've only been playing the My Faction mode.
You haven't even touched the other modes?
Almost exclusively. Haven't even touched any of the other
dang.
modes yet. Yeah. I did get the 500 wins. I found an exploit that
you did.
allowed me to submit my opponent within 16 seconds of the match starting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I finally got that specific card. And she had like this, her name's Asuka. She has the best submission percentage and rating of anyone. And I finally got that card. So I just used her and just used her over and over again. And I got the 500 wins. Now I am on to part of my faction is called Proving Grounds, where I have to play several matches. There's like 6 chapters and there's 49 matches in each chapter, and I have to play it in order for me to get the platinum. I think I need to do like 5 of the 6 chapters, but I have to beat all the matches on the hardest difficulty, which is I almost broke my controller tonight because it was one of the matches I don't like, where it's like an 8-man all free for all, and you have to win by either by a pin, or it's a ladder match and you have to go up the ladder, and as soon as you try to pin someone, or as soon as you go to the ladder, all the rest of the wrestlers notice you, and they just are magnetized, so to break up the pin or break it up for you trying to get the title at the top of the ladder. And just like a match that's usually fun to watch in real life, it is terrible in video game form. And so I know that I'm going to be playing that match for 20 minutes. Some of these other matches, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but those are like 20 minutes. And on legendary difficulty, these wrestlers reverse every single move I do. And some of the things that you have to do while you're doing these matches, you have to do 10 light punches or 25 heavy strikes, or make sure you do your finisher or do your signature move, or you have to do so many things, and every time I try to do my finisher, they reverse it, and I have to start over and get my meter all the way back up, and then because if I do my finisher and they reverse it, my finisher's gone and it's back to 0. So I have to do it all over again.
Gross.
And when that happens, I just want to throw my controller through my TV.
Mm.
It's so frustrating, but the game is so much fun, and I haven't even touched the rest of the game. So I'm really excited to with me putting in 60 something hours already into one of the 3 modes that are in my faction.
Man.
I'm definitely gonna be playing this for many months to come. Really fun.
Nice.
I think that's it.
Sweet deal.
Yeah. Lucas?
Let's see
it
how
your
long
turn?
it would go.
I'm Ron Burke.
I would love to share what's been going on. We're going to keep the birthday discussion, the birthday theme going strong. I celebrated my birthday this week.
Yay!
You did.
And not only was it just, a birthday, it was my 40th birthday.
Oh, your 10th anniversary of your 30th birthday. Nice.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm 30 again for the 10th time. And let me tell you, it didn't hit me as hard as I thought it would. And then I was filling out some kind of document or survey, and it said, "What is your age?" And I put 40, and I was like,
oh no,
I'm old. And I felt it for a second. Overall, it's been fine. I haven't felt really that differently. I will say I had some hip pain a few days this week, but I've overcome.
Did you yell at a cloud yet?
No, I haven't yelled at. I'm trying to like only every other month or every other week do those kind of things. Okay. But I did go on a walk with Rayla today. Got some stretching done. I looked up, like stretching in a chair for old people. The ones where you don't have to stand or do much movement. You just kind of sit there and move your arms and touch your toes while you're sitting in a chair. So just been doing that kind of stuff to keep limber. Keep this 40-year-old geriatric body limber. But yeah, so I celebrated my birthday last Wednesday, and it was a fun day. I played video games for much of the day. I celebrated by streaming the Contra anniversary game collection. That's what it's called, Contra Anniversary Collection. I only played through, I think, Contra Arcade, maybe. I think I only played through one. But man, let me tell you, I remember back in the day, the arcade versions of games being way better than the home console versions. And between us playing Contra, the original Patrick, and actually I played it again so I could get the trophy because it robbed me last time since I was player 2. I did that too. I played through Contra, the original on NES. And Contra original on NES, it might not have as much detail, but it's so much better than Contra on the arcade. Like Contra on the arcade, the way the guy jumps, the way they move around, the way it all works together, it looks awful. Like I just am so glad that I grew up playing the NES Contra. So
interesting.
I beat both of those by save scumming, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But having already beaten it with you, the NES version, it was much easier this time. I knew what was going down, and I just used that spreader gun to my heart's content. It was glorious. And I think the plan is, even though it doesn't have a platinum, I want to get the gold trophy for beating every one of the games. So I'm going to play the other Contra games, the Japanese Contra, there's the other ones. What is the
difference in Japanese Contra?
I mean, it's supposedly it has like a story, more of a story to it that I won't be able to understand because it's going to be written in Japanese. But
okay,
I haven't played the gameplay of it, so I don't really know. And then there's another game that it's by Konami that I can't even remember the name of it. It's like Protect Droid, or if you remember when we looked in the menu, you were like robots. I don't know anything about those, but I'm going to play those. Okay. And then Contra Hard Corps, however you say that. It's CORPS. So it would be core, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the P and S are silent. If you say Contra Corpse, it sounds like
I definitely called it Corpse when I was little.
Yeah, gotta play that, and then I have to. In that one, it's more like American Hero or another game where you have to follow all the routes. There's like Route A, Route B, Route C, Route D. So I'm gonna do that too, and I'm gonna 100% it. So it should be fun.
All right.
So yeah, that was fun. And then the rest of the time I played Horizon Forbidden West. And finally, it grabbed me after
Hey.
13 hours. I'm going to be honest that I was getting a little nervous because playing Horizon Zero Dawn, that game grabbed me within an hour, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
didn't look back. And I felt like the open world, I felt like everything worked together perfectly. And I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm not going to go like real deep and detailed because we are going to do a spoiler cast. But I kind of feel like I'm playing a Ubisoft game in Assassin's Creed with this one. I feel like they overdid the stuff on the map. Like they took it a little too far. It's a little too busy for me. I am recognizing that my toleration of busy open world games is not very high because I felt it in Days Gone last year when I played and abandoned that game. I just kind of looked around. I'm like, I don't, this is, I need more like, I kind of like God of War where it's like fake open world where you have areas and I don't know, like, so I've kind of struggled with that. I'm now currently at like 16 hours. I did hit a part, like I said, on my birthday stream. I got to some story beats that really got my attention, that really sunk into me, got its hooks in me. I'm still having a hard time. Like I'm not enjoying the robot and people battling as I remember enjoying it in Zero Dawn. I feel like half the time I don't know where the enemies are. Like I have to turn on my focus and I'm like looking for the little red exclamation mark above their heads to figure out where are the humans that I need to kill? Where are the robots? I look for the little blue glow of the
Yeah.
robots, but the world is so lush and beautiful. It's almost too lush and beautiful. And I'm just like, I can't find nothing in this world. It's too beautiful and like too, there's everything's like, there's no, you know, areas where there's less colors so that I can actually see the enemies. So I've kind of struggled with that. But other than that, the story is interesting. The characters are interesting. I do look forward to getting, enjoying the story. But it's not clicking with me still, even with the story part grabbing me. It's still not clicking with me like Horizon Zero Dawn, but I'm still
Yeah.
going to see it through. It's still a quality game and it's still fun. So we'll see what happens from here. But
Don't
Good
give
luck.
up.
I won't give up. I will keep you updated. After that, after the gaming, I got to hang out and spend the evening with my family. They got me this fun little Funko Pop, Leonardo.
Nice.
This is the third one. I have the other two up here, Donatello and Michelangelo. And
Whoa.
actually, they got me Raphael and Leonardo. But when Raphael came, he was actually an action figure of what's his name, Mysterio from Spider-Man.
Okay.
And he wasn't a Funko Pop. He wasn't a ninja anything. He was Mysterio, and so he got sent back. And when Mindy tried to replace him with a new one that was actually the right one, the price was double, and
Holy
she
smokes.
couldn't find Raphael from the same person. Like they had tried to dupe her, and yeah, so we're returning that, and I'll find Raphael another day. And
Okay.
so for now, I got 3 of the 4 turtles. So it's still fun. I was still happy to get Leonardo because Leonardo was my favorite growing up. So I'm glad to have him in the set. And then after that, we had a little pizza dinner together in honor of the Ninja Turtles. Had
Nice. Keep it
mine
on
and
with the theme.
Patrick's favorite pizza.
Moda da
Moda da
Casa.
Casa. Yep.
Mm.
And then I also got a drink that I had ordered back in February that I didn't think I would get till beginning of April because it was in the northern part of Brazil and it was said to take a long time to come, called Baré. And it's kind of like a cream soda type of pop. And it is so good. And I was so excited to get it. I've shared a little bit with my family so they could taste it. And it's been mixed reviews, but it's win-win. If they like it, then it makes me happy that they like it. If they don't, it makes me happy because I get to drink more of it. So
Right.
no
It's a
problems in this
win-win.
area. Exactly. So had that, and then the final thing that happened was that on my birthday, my wife ordered us a new television
Woohoo!
for
Yes.
my birthday and slash anniversary, our anniversary. And let me tell you, It made my birthday day turn into a birthday week. It was very exciting. It came 2 days later after she ordered it. And oh man, let me tell you what, I did not start out great with the new television. So I get it in the morning, like right before Douglas, our trainer, came, and we were about to train Rayla, and the TV people came. So we stopped that. We got the TV sent upstairs, and it was almost like seeing the presents on Christmas morning, but then not getting to open the presents until like, oh, you gotta have breakfast first. We're gonna read the Bible story. We're gonna, sing some songs. Now we're gonna go caroling around the neighborhood. Like that's what it felt like. I'm like, I just want to go get my TV out of the box and see it in all its glory. So a couple hours later, I was finally able to go upstairs. I had to rearrange things because old Bessie, old Sony Bravia from 14 years ago, got put into our bedroom. So Mindy's very excited about that because now when I'm podcasting or staying up late playing games with you guys, she can watch Netflix and movies and shows and stuff on an actual big screen instead of her iPad. And so I shuffled that stuff around, and then I got the TV out, like put it up, got everything plugged in, turned it on, and started checking out, okay, let's see what the picture looks like now in 4K HDR on the PS5, the Xbox. Can't wait to see it. I turn it on and the picture looks the same. And I'm like, what happened? What is this? Is this the right TV? So I go into the menu and I go to HDR and it says HD, this function is not available. And I'm like, what? What do you mean this function's not available? What kind of TV broke, jacked up Gabriel Brothers TV did I buy? And so I started doing research. I looked online. I looked at the store we bought it on, and it said HDR compatible. And I'm like, okay, something's going on. And I wrote Mindy. She wasn't answering, and I'm like, I gotta write Patrick. He said this TV was good, so he's got to help me with this. So I wrote Patrick, and Patrick's like, well, maybe, you don't have it in the right port. And I'm like, okay, not in the right port. I'm like, there's 3 ports. I've moved them around. And then it hit me. The TV is not the only entertainment item that is 14 years old. My entertainment receiver, my sound Dolby, I don't remember what it is, Panasonic receiver is also 14 years old. And I bought it when there was no such thing as 4K. I bought it when there was no such thing as HDR. And so what was happening is I was putting the PS5 and the Xbox through the receiver, and when it comes out, it can't carry that 4K HDR signal to the television.
Yeah,
and
that'll
so
do it.
The middleman was like a middle grandpa, and he didn't know what was going on. And so I moved the cables around. I directly plugged in. It was perfect. I had 3 slots, and the first 2 slots got the PS5 and the Xbox, and the last slot got the rest of the stuff that's not even 4K, like my little NES Classics, SNES Classic. And then I turned it back on again. And let me tell you, it was like the first time I bought glasses, and all of a sudden the greens and the leaves were so crisp. The look, I mean, I turned on Forza Horizon. I turned on Horizon Forbidden West. I just was like, oh, it was glorious. Glorious. Oh, yeah, the clouds parted. And oh, man, I'm so glad to be up with the times, have 4K, have HDR. It was magical. And then later that weekend, kept celebrating my birthday with some friends from Pocket. And what was the first thing I said within 15 minutes of these guys coming to visit? You want to see my new TV? And so we went upstairs. Yeah, I was like, oh great, yeah, life. How's life? Great. Let's go. You want to look? Can I show you my new TV? And so we went upstairs, and I went right to Forza Horizon and just showed them the gloriousness. Now, what was really cool about it was they had not seen up close any kind of current gen gaming. And so when they saw these cars and the look and the feel and everything, they were like, whoa, gaming has come a long way. Like one of the guys I don't think had played since I don't know, like PS2, PS1.
Dang.
Wow. Yeah.
and then the other friend, he has a Switch, so he does understand a little bit about what it is. But I mean, let's be honest, the jump from a Switch to an Xbox Series, whatever, or PS5 is pretty big still.
Yep.
So they were very amazed by the picture quality and all that. So they both got to race a little bit. That was fun. And then I turned on Flight Simulator and said, hey, let's try to fly. I know Patrick's making a face, but one thing that I think that's cool about Flight Simulators, and Patrick already talked about it, being able to fly to where you live. And I was like, and so I automatically had it ready. I booted it up and I was like, hey guys, we're going to fly from Congonhas to where we are right now. And they're like, are you serious? You can like see it? And I'm like, yep. And so we got going, and let me tell you, I did not know how to control this plane, nor did I know how to change the camera angle. So for the first 5 minutes was just me like just flying all over the city, just trying to get myself out of the cockpit, because I don't really care for the cockpit view. It's not that good looking. I don't know why that's the default, but it's like all tunnel vision and stuff. But eventually I found the right button. I got to the outside, and everybody's like, oh, that's better. You could see the airplane and you could see the city. And so we started following, which I think is funny. You're in an airplane and you start following the road.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
It's like, well, how else am I supposed to find my house? So we follow the road that goes from the street or avenue, whatever, that goes from Congonhas Airport, which is the closest one. It's like 30 minutes from where we live. And we just followed down that street, and we saw, like, we started seeing stuff. They're like, there's the Autodromo. And then in the distance, we saw a lake. We're like, that has to be the Represa, the lake, the man-made lake that we're nearby. And we got up to it, and we were going so fast that it was just kind of like, I think that's it right there. And then we went past it, and I tried to turn around, and I just nose bombed into the lake. and at this point, when I nose bombed into the lake, I realized how much of a simulator it was, because I started bouncing like a ball. Like, it didn't crash and burn. It didn't have an explosion. It was just like boing, 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 like bouncing around off the lake. Patrick, I don't know if you had that experience when you crashed in the game, but they did not put any effort into the crash graphics, if that's a thing.
Yeah, would, when I tried to go towards my house, I would nosedive too much, and I would get into like trees and be in between like dumpsters and houses, and I couldn't get out of it. So I had to restart,
it's really hard to get out of it. Yep.
And then you restart back in the at the airport where you started, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing this again.
I'm done. So yeah, it was still really cool, and I do plan to. It is a pretty game. It is. I'm gonna try to fly to some different areas, like homes that I've grown up in or lived in. Try to visit just some areas, and then I'm gonna delete it because it takes up literally a third of the hard drive. I'm pretty sure. It's huge. It's like 130 gigs. So I'm going to try to get, my money's worth, quote unquote. Yeah. Free money. My Novacell Now money was worth out of it. And then, go from there. But it was still cool to play it. Like Patrick, I too hosted a group of preteen girls, and it was never quiet. Most of the time, they either chit-chatted and giggled in Tasha's room, or there were times when they did play video games. I will be honest, I did judge them and my son when all they wanted to play on the new 4K HDR television was Minecraft. And I'm like, guys, seriously?
It's even uglier.
Check out these blocks in 4K.
It is. It's even uglier than it was on the old TV. It's like when you play games that you grew up playing on your CRT tube TV, and you're like, oh, was it this gross looking? It wasn't. It's even worse when it's stretched out on a 16:9 flat screen television. So, but I did convince them to play some Jackbox, which was fun. We did some drawings, did some drawful, did some Guespionage, and I think a little bit of fibbage, family friendly, of course. Nice. So that was fun. And then, so in general, like, you try to have some treats for them, and we had pizza during Friday night, and the next day I grilled out, and that was yummy, as Patrick experienced. We finished off that steak, Patrick, the other half of it,
the diaper steak,
the diaper steak, and it was just as tasty as the first time we had
good.
I'm glad
the diaper steak was the best.
I'm glad it actually tastes better than it sounds.
It does taste better than it sounds. It was really good. And one thing that happened during that meal was that one of the parents came to get their daughter, and they were a little early. We were still going to sing, to Tasha happy birthday and have birthday cake. So he got to join us, and we got to chatting. And I found out that his father used to be the CFO of Sony. And I was like, say what? I need more information.
What?
So
Yeah, what?
he grew up with as a Sony family. Like they traveled the world working for Sony, doing CFO. He used to be an accountant for Sony, and he kind of worked. His dad worked his way up the ladder and eventually became the CFO. He's now retired, but he used to be in I think he said the 90s, early 2000s, used to be the CFO of Sony. I was like, that's really cool. I try to be cool, like just be like, "Ooh, tell me more. I'm a PlayStation fan." So I didn't. I was just like, "Oh, that's really cool. Yeah." So tell me more about it. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's not a big deal. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that was really cool. And then I think that's about it on the life front. And I think that covered most of the games I played. The last one that I do want to throw out that actually I just played an hour of today because I wanted to get a taste for it, and I didn't want Marc to be the only one to have something to say about it. I booted up that old Tunic and ran around the world of foxes and blobbies and weird guys with swords. I didn't hate it. No, honestly, it gave me enough Legend of Zelda vibes that I enjoyed it. I did get the Dark Souls vibe pretty early on when they gave me a stick and they're like, figure it out with this stick, and I'm like, this is all you're gonna give me is a stick. So exploring the world. Once I got a sword, I felt like I was a little more in business.
Yeah.
And I played an hour, and I rang the East Bell. I don't know. I rang the one that says ding. I imagine if I continue, I'm gonna ring a bell that says dong or something like that.
You sure
but,
are.
So I've rung one of the bells. I got the sword. I feel like I should have the shield by now, but I can't find it. So
there is
let's
a
have
shield.
Let's have a little water cooler moment. If I go to the area where I think the West Bell is and I don't have the shield, should I find the shield first before going over there, or will I find it in that general area?
I want to say the shield is in that area, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I mean, I found the sword in the eastern forest, so I'm figuring that when I go to the western side.
Yeah.
But I'm running into some enemies. So I'm like, I really want a shield right now. And even I think one thing that's kind of cute about it and also annoying is the little pages of the manual that you find that really feel like an 80s manual, like that you would leaf through back in the day. But half of it is in gibberish.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you giving me this gibberish? It's not even Japanese. Like I can't bring up Google Translate and just turn it to English so I can see what's going on. It's like fake language. But that also creates some mystery, so I'm not too mad at it. I feel like I'm going to give it another hour or two and see if it sticks. I'm a little intrigued by what you're trying to accomplish. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it. It's a nice, simple game. I feel like even though it has the Dark Souls feel to it, it's not as complicated or as punishing as Dark Souls. Dog, get away! Stop it! Quit licking everything. Sorry. The dog's attacking me with her tongue.
Hi,
and just
Rayla.
isn't a licky move. Rayla. All right. So anyways, Tunic, I'll have more updates on that later because I'm going to give it another round or two. But it was good.
All right. Sweet deal.
And that concludes my IRL and VG update. Marcus.
I feel like I should pivot off of that since we're talking about pivot.
Do it. Pivot right off that. Give me
talking about Tunic.
So give us a Tunic update.
So I am I want to say like 3-4 hours into the game, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the night that we talked about me starting to play last week, and I was like, I haven't turned on the no fail mode yet, and I want to see if I can handle it. Literally the next day, I turned on no fail mode.
Yeah, I haven't turned either of them on. I don't have the the unlimited stamina, or the fail mode on
Yeah,
yet. But I'm not. I'm not gonna be ashamed to do it if I feel the need. How far did you get before you needed to turn that baby on?
Probably about another hour or so after I stopped from when we talked last time about it.
Gotcha.
And the more I have played, the more I like. Part of me feels bad about it because with no fail mode, you cannot die. Like no, whether it's bosses or any sort of mini enemies or like, you can get hit and you'll react or whatever, but you do not take any damage. You will not die.
So you turn into Captain America. You're just like, I could do this all day.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Nice.
So part of me feels bad, but at the same time, like, if I didn't turn that on, I probably would have quit that game a long time ago.
Gotcha.
Because it gets more difficult. And
I need that no fail mode in Elden Ring. I think I would have way more fun.
You're telling me. I would feel the same way.
You really have to learn how to dodge and parry and all that kind of stuff, and use the extra items that you accumulate in the game if you have any hope. And obviously you have to upgrade your character as well if you want to have any hope of progressing in that game without no fail mode. And I just want to enjoy the game. I want to enjoy whatever the story is. And that, on another note, now I'm 3-4 hours in, still don't know 100% what's going on.
I believe it.
And I feel like they're trying to say something about Zelda games, because, like, obviously, as you pointed out, like, a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the the text is in some unknown language that you can't read. But they give you just enough stuff to, when you look at those instruction manuals and things like that, to figure out, okay, got to do this, got to collect this and this and this. And I feel like they're trying to say something that, like, you don't really need to know the story. You really don't, as you would like a Zelda game. Like, they're all variations on a theme, basically. I mean, some of the games, like, they change it up quite a bit, but for the most part, it's like Link good, Ganon bad, gotta save Zelda, get the Triforce, save Hyrule. That's mainly, and plus you're going to different dungeons trying to collect pieces in order to move the game.
Right.
Right.
So I think they're kind of like saying something to that. But so far, like, I'm still very much interested, and it may just be that, all the good stuff happens further in the game. But we'll see. But so far, I'm not getting like a whole lot of story out of it. It's just interesting to explore all the different areas and get items and things like that and not die. So, yeah, because like I said, otherwise I probably would have quit that game a long time ago. But I am glad that I turned it on, just so that I can try to go through this game as quickly as possible, because I have another game that I'm going to start that I have not started yet, and I just bought it, and I feel bad because I haven't started it yet. Yeah, I got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I would very much like to start that. Have not started it yet. I want to try to get Tunic finished before I really jump into that. I was gonna bounce around between games, it just didn't happen. So I think I need to just completely finish Tunic before I jump into Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. But what I've seen of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands looks fantastic. It looks very much Borderlands, and at the same time they introduce some new stuff. and it's got a lot of the same humor from what I can tell. So I'm
Nice.
very much excited about that. But that was pretty much. Oh, and I also streamed some more Zelda Ocarina of Time on Saturday. Um,
Nice.
Beat the infamous Water Temple, which I feel like this game, as I get older, I feel like I'm just getting worse as a gamer. Cause like I was like, I don't remember this. I mean, it's difficult, but I don't remember it being this difficult. And I had a walkthrough open, and I was still having trouble with it.
Huh.
Because it can get the water temple gets confusing real quick. Because you have to, drain and fill up the water like several different ways, several different times, and you can get turned around. And you have to do things in a particular order so that you can progress through the temple, and it gets pretty confusing even with a walkthrough. So, um, it took me about an hour and a half to get through it. Um, but I did beat it, and I think I did a couple other things as well. I am at the Shadow Temple now, so we'll start with the Shadow Temple this coming Saturday. Um, I'm hoping to get Shadow and Spirit Temple done, because then we can save the last stream just for going for Ganondorf. Um, but it's been good. I mean, it's been good getting back into the game. I very much, have great experiences with the world. But I was talking with Aaron in the chat on You Done Messed Up, Aaron in the chat. And I really hope at some point they make a full ground up remake of this game. Because it needs it badly. So,
Yeah, isn't there going to be
Should be.
a what?
There really should be. I was agreeing
Yeah,
with Mark.
yeah. I really think there is going to. I wasn't. Is there a rumor about them doing a remake of
there's
this?
been a rumor going on for a long
Oh,
time,
that's
but
right. They're like, hey, here's Wind Waker or something like that.
the
What was
Skyward
it?
Sword.
Skyward Sword. And I'm like, nah, well, what the heck? Ocarina of Time, one of the best games, if not the best game of all time. Let's remake it.
Yeah, I don't. Nintendo,
They do what they want.
They
yeah,
do what they want. And I
they
Yep.
go to the
respect
beat
that.
of their own drum.
Yeah.
So we just kind of have to hope and pray. But I'm sure at some point they will do some sort of a remake.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, nevertheless, I enjoy being back in the world anyway. But that's been pretty much it on the gaming side of things. On the life side of things, things are back to normal after going through the whole, with the funeral and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
went back to a normal week. I don't know if you realized or not. Got new glasses. So
Nice.
yeah, they're new frames.
Nice.
So that was nice to be able to get a little bit of an upgrade. Um, it's been taking a lot of getting used to them. I don't remember them being like my last pair of glasses being this, having to get used to this like that. Like I just remember being able to see pretty much immediately. But I talked to the optometrist. She's like, yeah, give it a couple of days because your eyes need to adjust to the different. Because it was a little bit of a different prescription, but not much, not by much.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just she's like, yeah, give it some time, and it's been getting better. So just gonna give it a little bit more time. But on Thursday, I decided to turn on that old Halo, the TV series.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Watched the first episode of Halo. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what the budget is for it. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty high budget for it being a Paramount television show. But I did notice a little bit of inconsistencies with the CG designs and everything like that of like the the Covenant and some of their explosion effects and things like that. But
it's not Disney.
Yeah,
not Disney money.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that improves with the episodes as they go on. But man, just like from the first battle, like they've got so much of the sounds and sights from directly from the video game. Like, I don't think there's really much of a spoiler at all, but like Master Chief gets hit at one point and it knocks his armor, and you hear his armor drop that same sound effect, and then you hear it come right back up and recharge. And
yeah, that was a really cool. I was like, oh, that's a nice nod to the games. I like it.
There were several scenes like that where they had like even looking at Master Chief's HUD and everything like that, and his helmet and all that kind of stuff. They paid attention to that. Now, this show very much deviates from the game lore right away. They've got a lot of the characters down, but like in terms of the actual story and stuff, they deviate pretty quick.
I as a outsider looking in, I've played the Halo games, but I don't have an affinity for them.
Yeah.
For the TV series, I don't want them to rehash it.
Yeah.
Make their own story in the same universe. And that's not a lot of people want that.
Sure.
But I thought for me, I thought it was a nice fresh take on it.
Yeah, I mean the story that they are telling is interesting. And they have very much established that this is a different timeline. They're calling it the Silver Timeline. Because Chief's team named the team of Spartans is called Silver Team on the show, whereas in the game his team was Blue Team. All sorts of different things, new characters that we haven't met. It's interesting, and so I'm definitely, I think I'm on board for it. I'll be interested to see the further episodes. There was one thing that I knew was going to happen that I'm not going to mention what it is, and it happened, and I was like, okay, I might as well just rip that Band-Aid off now. But that's fine. The way they did it was fine. I think it worked for the story. I'm very interested to see where it goes, and I'll definitely continue watching it.
When does that show come out? On Wednesdays?
Thursdays.
Okay, so we got Moon Knight on Wednesdays and Halo on Thursdays.
Yep.
Sweet.
Super excited
Sweet.
for Moon Knight to come out on Wednesday.
Yeah, when's that start?
This Wednesday.
Ooh, exciting.
Yep. I'm absolutely ready for that. Like Marvel's been dropping like little teasers that show like a little bit more footage and a little bit more footage.
I've gone on blackout.
Yeah.
Blackout on that. Yep.
I'm done watching little teases. I just want to see the show.
Yeah. But I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm very interested.
Yeah, man. I think we should starting next week just do little, maybe like one episode thoughts. Recaps.
I'm good with that.
Little 10-minute deals or however long we want to go.
Yeah, man.
And then Ronnie can plug his ears because we all know he's not going to keep up with it, or maybe he will. Maybe he'll surprise us.
Spoiler: he doesn't care about spoilers. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it again. He watched Endgame.
He'll forget.
Or Infinity War as his first Marvel movie. So
yeah,
he does. To him, there's no spoilers. It's just information. And
yeah.
It's going on the ride. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Like, and that honestly, some of that, like, you guys know me. I will look at spoilers, but like even though I know things, like I still very much enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Times I know, I feel the same way.
So,
just like get that crap out of here.
But that's me. That's just me.
That's you.
But yeah, that's pretty much it on my side of things. Other than that,
all right.
feeling like $1 billion.
Are
Feeling
you?
like you're feeling like $1 billion. Whoa.
I was just thinking of the song, If I Had $1 billion, if I had $1 billion.
It's interesting.
You ever heard that song?
It's $1 million, but you know what?
No, it's $1 billion in my universe. No, in
In your
Brazil,
silver-
it's a Brazilian dollars. Oh.
in Lucas's silver timeline. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
So, speaking of $1 billion, that's the question we're asking each other on our episode today. What would you do if you had $1 billion? So let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, folks. That is the topic. I think we've had this question asked to us in some sort of different capacity. I
feel like it was $1 million, and now we're upping the ante.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yep, $1 billion with a B. And so, obviously, as some of you may have noticed in the Discord and on Twitter today, we had a completely different topic that we had planned.
Yes, we did.
But then we found out we already did that topic.
That is correct.
And we're not about ready for rehashing topics yet at this point. So
yeah, we're not all 40 years old yet, so we still have some of our senses left. When we're all 40, maybe we'll do
our
game
memory
shows
is
again.
gone. Apparently,
yeah.
But yeah, that is the $1 billion question, if you will. What would you do if you had $1 billion just randomly appear in your checking account? I'm going to give an answer from one of our joiners first.
All right. Let our first billionaire lead the way. Who is next? The next contestant on The Price is $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
It doesn't
Not
roll
really,
off the tongue as much as the.
but we'll go with it.
Come on down.
But yeah, so Corey Fouch, aka Corey Smith,
Hey, Corey Smith.
on the Discord, says if you spent
Was that a duck sound?
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that sound was. It's just a
squirrel.
All right.
Um,
Continue, Marcus.
if you spent $1,000 a day, it would take you 2,740 years to spend it all. And this is what Corey would do with the $1 billion. I'd pay off everything for my and my immediate family. I'd retire my parents and in-laws and set them up for the rest of their lives, build my dream house, and quit working and take up a hobby. Give money to some of my favorite podcasts.
Let's go.
And travel a lot. So I think
sounds like he'll have like $999 million left.
I don't know, man. Would it really last that long? Would $1 billion last that long? Like with all of that stuff that he's mentioning?
I think so. I think that would. I mean, I don't think it would be 999 million left, but
yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's
to
fair.
say the least.
That's fair. So, Lucas.
Hi.
What would you do for $1 billion?
All right.
Or with $1 billion?
What,
not
$4
not
billion?
four. Not four. Not
I want to give a little. I want to give a little like warm up to my plans with $1 billion.
Okay.
By sharing my family's plans for $1 billion because we discussed it at dinner tonight, and as always, my children did not disappoint. So, Tasha, she wants to buy Papa and Nana's old house in Ohio that they sold a couple years ago or whenever that was.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to buy it. She doesn't necessarily want to live in it, but she wants to buy it back so that it's in the family. She wants to buy a Nintendo Switch, a PS5, and the coolest TV ever, along with some cool school supplies. She wants to get a cabin deep in the woods of Japan with pet wolves and tigers.
That's a good
She
wife.
wants, yeah, she wants a German Shepherd puppy. At first, she said, what did she say? I want, I want a Rayla, and I'm like a clone. She's like,
You got the money for it.
I mean, I guess you have money for it. You can make a clone. So then she settled on, I want a German Shepherd puppy that goes with her everywhere. And I said, well, if that's dog's gonna go with you, it's gonna have to be a service dog. And she's like, fine, it's gonna be a service dog. I'm like, okay. She wants to donate a bunch of money to hospitals and people in need. She wants to build another house in Brazil with a basketball court, soccer field, and swimming pool. And then she wants to give the rest to her family. And I was like, all right, I'll take
Yay.
it. That is Tasha.
That is
James,
nice.
he wants a house in Brazil and a pool with a slide and a diving board. He wants a private jet. He wants a dog, a basketball court. He wants every single Lego set. He wants to donate to the poor, and then Jesus gets the rest. How he's going to get it to Jesus, I haven't figured that out, but he said Jesus gets the rest. So
we'll figure that out. He'll tell us.
That's what he's doing with $1 billion. So,
Okay.
Yep. Mindy was the last, and she was, of course, the most organized. She's breaking it up into fifths. So with the first fifth, she wants to provide for James's education and give him a starter for his adult life, which probably will just be the rest of his life. Tasha, the same, another fifth. For a third fifth, she wants to travel the world, specifically to see the 7 wonders of the world in every major locale of every single continent, visit all her childhood homes, go to the Mediterranean area, Greece and all that, and go to Japan. She wants to make a variety of donations to very important people in her life, friends and family in need, and then live off the rest. So that's my family. Mine, I kind of like did a timeline for mine, like to plan out the process because I don't want to interrupt my kids' education. So
yeah,
I'm going to take the Ross route at the beginning, and I'm going to invest the vast majority of it and live off the interest. Something that's, surefire, that I'm not just going to like invest in Bitcoin and then all of a sudden a year later, Doge is the new coin and it loses all value, blah, blah, blah. But I want to get to the point where my kids graduate from high school and then, kind of like with Mindy, provide for their education so they can go to college and give them like a good base to start their adult life and go and pursue their careers and passions, etc. In the meanwhile, I want to go full on digital and personal ministry. So whether that's Twitch streaming, podcasting full time, doing more personal ministries, kind of like what we do with God and Gaming, but on a bigger scale. And then on a very, like, just for me, in the process of doing that and on the side of personal life, since I don't really have to do a job of, 9 to 5 or anything, I want to catch up on my backlog of games.
There you go.
Like put a real dent in PS4, PS5, get a bunch of platinums, that kind of thing. And then eventually, once the kids go off to college and we don't really have necessity of being in a certain place, I want to sell pretty much everything, kind of start afresh, and then have a house in Brazil and a house in the US. We could do multiple houses, like multiple locations, so that we're nearby the people that we care for and love, maybe like a house in Ohio, a house in West Virginia. And then I'm going to need a third house in the US that's maybe like in a more southern zone where there's no winter, or we could snowbird it to Brazil and just fly, to Brazil. I'll just fly first class. I don't need a private jet. But if I have enough, I guess with $1 billion, I would have enough to have a private jet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure
I'm going to do a
would.
private jet, private helicopter, private train, just all the planes, trains, and
Private
automobiles.
train.
I want all those things. So we're going to kind of like do a sort of snowbird where Mindy and I like live between the US and Brazil, go back and forth between the two countries. And then during that time also, once the kids are out of college, want to go to the Holy Land, want to go to Israel, want to follow the path of Christ, want to follow the ministry of Paul, like pretty much from the birth of the church, like birth of Christ to the birth of the church to how it all spread, go to all those different areas and zones, kind of expanding out, throughout all the places. Mediterranean, Japan. I want to go skydiving. If there's any extra after all this, along with, of course, not counting what we need to live on and that kind of jazz, maybe go to space. I don't know. It depends on, by the time my kids graduate in the next 8-9 years, maybe space travel will be a little more affordable and interesting. I'm pretty sure like this first round of space travel, they went to like the last stratosphere or whatever it's called, and just kind of were up there for like 5 minutes and then came back down. I'm like, no. Like, I want to go to the International Space Station, hang out, see space, like do a few laps around the Earth and see space for what it's worth, that kind of jazz. And then the final thing I want to do is I want to buy enough stock in my favorite ice cream place in Brazil that Patrick got to experience, called Sergel, and I'm going to make them go worldwide. Like
worldwide,
whatever it takes. They're going worldwide. They're selling their ice cream throughout the world and taking over. Move over, Ben and Jerry's. Get out of here, Breyers. The rest of you fake ice cream places. Dairy Queen's done. Sergel's coming to town, and it's going to wreck shop.
Yeah, that's Sergel. It was one of those ice creams where you like slunch back into your chair, eyes roll back into your head, you go limp. That's how good. That's how good this was. Like, you're like, oh, this is. It's indescribable of how good and how flavorful this.
So good.
The Sergel was.
So there you go.
I totally approve with bringing them worldwide.
No doubt.
Approved.
Patrick approved. All right. Well, that's how I spent my billions. So there you go. Okay. Me and the family.
Thanks. So you name all of your cars, your vehicles, and things like that. You're gonna have your own private jet. Have you thought about a name?
You're
gonna have
a
to
name for my
it.
jet. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I'll think about that.
Yeah.
Denver. That's how I'm gonna name that one. That's what I'm gonna name my my motorhome. Oh, Con Air's a good one. Yeah. That is a good one. I like that. Old Bessie. That's the first thing I thought of. That's what I'm gonna call I'm gonna get a boat and call it Old Bessie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably just name it after Star Wars characters, like we've named our cars after Star Wars characters.
The Death Star?
Yeah, one of them will have to be the Death Star. For sure, the jet will have to be like, I don't know. I'm trying to...
It should be more like Spaceballs, like the Winnebago or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Pizza the Hut.
Have it, and you have to be able to like... Because planes, they have like their own logos and things like that. If you can make it look like a Winnebago, like that, like wooden trim and it's a all
jet, that would be freaking sweet.
Name it Spaceball 1.
Yeah, that's true. All right, food for thought. I'll have to think about that. Get some names, get some cool names going. All right. Do we want to do a joiner or do we go to Patrick?
Yeah, let's go to Marc. A joiner.
Or a joiner. I like that. I like how you think.
Or even a joiner.
Go.
Bernabe Ronches Butters.
Hey,
listen to those rolling R's.
If you go too long, you sound like a Wookiee. Yeah, he says, I would buy a mountain and make a big cave.
There we go. Buying a mountain.
All right.
Fill it with gold and treasure and sit on it like a dragon.
What?
All this after paying debt, mine and family, creating a non-profit to support low-income students to get a bachelor degree in STEM with a mandatory minor in arts. Nice.
All right. Wow.
You've
earned
specific.
It. You've earned your mountain of gold to sit on. You've done those altruistic things.
Then he'll create another grant for supporting theater for the masses. I like it. Another grant for aspiring writers. Basically, he'll try to enable people to get an education if they want it, removing the basic obstacles of hunger and poverty. We'll probably pump GameStop stock through the roof and then dump my position to duplicate my money so I can keep doing good things. And no, you cannot touch my gold. They call it a mine. A mine!
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's got it.
I
all
thought he was going
planned
to say
out.
he was going to buy a mountain, fill it with golden treasures, and make it like a real life video game treasure hunt
Okay,
for
Smaug.
people.
Yeah. I thought he was going to swim through it like Scrooge McDuck. That's what I would want to do.
He's going to
Like,
invest
Do you realize
in
how
like
much that would
Jurassic Park.
hurt?
well, you get the kind of money that like you can swim through. There's got to be like a prop money that has value.
Yeah, it's definitely have to be prop money that floats on water because you can't dive through that.
Yeah.
It's
I
too
know,
dense.
but it still would be fun. His part of his dream does remind me that while I'll be playing through my backlog, I will also want to buy all the systems and all the games and have
Even
like
the Channel F,
especially the Channel F. And
You can
I'm
get
gonna
those
have like
8-track
I'm gonna.
cartridges.
Some people have a man cave. I'm gonna have a man house.
Dang, an entire house.
Oh,
Every like gaming system will have a dedicated room.
you're gonna have like 78 rooms in that
That's
house.
right. That's right. It's gonna take up a whole city block.
I know it's a building. It's not a house. It's a building.
But it's going to be shaped, and I didn't even have this system, but that's the only system I could think of that would be the right shape. It's going to be shaped like a GameCube, and
nice.
the huge purple GameCube.
Well, it could be. It could look like the Xbox Series X, just like a big, huge building.
True. That's true. It's got the vents at the top.
Nah, go back to the
Where
GameCube.
Fire comes out. Yeah, the GameCube is a.
Go back to the
Then
GameCube.
you can pop the top, and it's like a helipad when it opens up. And then I can land my helicopter.
Yeah, and anytime you ring the doorbell, it's like the turn on sound effect.
Yes, that'd be perfect. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
add that addendum to my billions of dollars or $1 billion.
There you go.
Yeah, and I want to name the helicopter after whatever it's called in the Magnum PI TV show. I don't remember what it's called,
That's a good
but
question. I have seen very little
that
of
one.
Magnum PI.
I'm just gonna call it Tom Selleck. It's gonna be Tom Selleck, the helicopter.
I would specifically call it Tom Selleck's mustache.
Yeah. What you been doing? Like, I've just been hanging out with Tom Selleck's mustache.
As is tradition.
That's a weird statement.
That's a very weird statement.
And on that note, Patrick, what would you do with $1 billion?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to do that I don't do because it's so expensive is travel. So I would definitely travel, and I would have my own private jet. But because I have $1 billion, I am gonna go all in, and I'm going to buy a plot of land and have my own private airstrip.
There you
so
go.
I can I can have my my private jet and be able to fly places. But the thing is if I'm going to have my own private strip, to fly to other parts of the world and things like that, I'm probably going to need a bigger plane than just a private jet, because of the fuel, I'm guessing, to fly all over. So I'm going to have a couple planes at least. One of the big Boeing 777s or whatever they are that allowed me to fly from Houston all the way down to Sao Paulo. It's like 10 hours. Can't even imagine how much fuel you need for that. But also, I don't know how to fly, so I'm gonna have to have some sort of. I'm gonna have a guy that can fly it for me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to have at least a couple. Depending on if I want to go somewhere, my family wants to go somewhere at the same time, I'm gonna need a couple planes. So I want to do that. I don't know how much that costs. I can't imagine it being more than $100 million. Who knows? I have no idea how much it would take to for the upkeep and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be something that I really want right off the bat. Secondly, so that's the air travel. For the ground travel, I want to have a nice enough house where I have like one of those James Bond kind of garages with like cars lined, the walls. And I would have my son, he loves Lamborghinis, so I'm definitely going to get a Lamborghini. I'm going to get my favorite car, the 69 Chevy Nova SS. I'm going to have one of those. I'm just going to get some nice luxury cars. I might have like one of the, a Tesla, Rolls Royce, things like that. I would love to have just a whole bunch of different cars. I think that'd be really awesome to have. But with, I don't want this house, to myself. But I also don't want I don't want people living in my house. So what I would want to do is to create a community of houses. And so I could have family, close friends, all in the same area, gated off, things like that. But one of the cool things that I would do with this is, like when it's raining, you're like, I don't want to go outside. I have to get my umbrella. I got to do all this other stuff, So what if I wanted to go over to my mom's or my friends? I don't want to walk outside. That's preposterous. That's
for peasants.
That's for peasants. Yeah. So I want to have an underground system that we can travel from place to place.
Have like pneumatic tubes.
It's
you
like,
just hop in and it's like.
Ooh, what about segways? Can you do segways to get through the tunnels?
Yes, we can have segways. If I will take requests for how to make this the best. And if you think segways are going to be great, I'll get segways. We'll get some power wheels for the kids or some smaller.
Yes.
Forget
the kids. I want adult size power wheels.
Oh,
I never got that as a child. No, that's not the same.
So
I need the battery powered cars, 15 miles per hour max.
Yeah, I can do that. We can put restrictors on the real cars and let them go like 15 miles an hour.
But they have to make the same sound, like the
Imagine you just driving down 15, 20 pow power wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's gonna cost a pretty big chunk of the $1 billion to make that house community, have those cars, my airstrip planes. I mean, what am I? Maybe half of it is going to be gone.
I mean, I'll donate some of mine so that I can have a house in your compound because I'll come visit often.
Yeah, and you can create you can design the house the way you want it.
Yeah,
as long as it makes sense for the template for my underground lair,
of course,
and all that stuff. Yeah,
lair. like the Ninja Turtles. Like you're gonna have an underground lair, like the. It's got
to look like the Bat Cave. I gotta have a Bat Cave, and I gotta have the Fortress of Solitude area as well. We gotta have both.
And you're gonna be Patman. No, Patman.
Exactly.
My mind went to when he said lair. Like anytime you go to see Pat, he will be in a chair facing the other way, and we'll have to immediately turn around.
Yeah.
with
some, evil, ominous music.
I will get you next time.
Next time. I saw you coming.
Next time.
Next time. Yeah, so that's going to be a pretty big chunk. Like some of you have said, like setting up family for life, like colleges and tuition, that costs a ton nowadays. My gosh, I don't even know how
crazy
people go to college anymore. Yeah. But I'll definitely put my kids through college. I will pay off all my debts, pay off my family's debts, so that they can set their kids up for life. And then the last thing that I would want to do is, like when I go to church, there are a lot of ministries that we have throughout the world, Haiti, Chikbalpur, India, and some that are here in the States. But sometimes it's like, hey, they need money to function, so I would love to be able to set them like, hey, you don't have to worry about the money anymore. You're going to be set for the rest of however long you want to be there. And anybody who else wants to be a part of that, and sometimes when people have to travel back and forth, that costs money too. So I want to be able to provide that so that there's no issues, because I know that could be very stressful to fund that and all that stuff. So I would like to do that. At that point, I don't know how much money I would have left over, but I would love to have, like you were talking about, having every single room have a different theme of gaming and consoles. Like, mm-hmm. I guess if you're gonna do that in my compound, like I feel like I don't need to do that. Or if you're gonna do it somewhere else, I'm just have to replicate it. Like, hey, just build 2 of these, one here for
Yeah,
me,
I
and
say we
then
do
one.
that. We'll just double it.
Yeah, exactly. $1 billion is just like I don't even know what that means.
Can't even comprehend it.
Like
Nope.
if I were to like price this out, what of all the stuff that I wanted to do, how much money would I have left over? Over $100 million still just like sitting there. And if I were to be living off of the 3% interest, yeah, that's definitely doable to live off of interest of $100 million.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if everything's already paid off. Like, what else do I have to pay for? Insurance for my 20 different cars and sports cars,
That's true.
taxes, property taxes on this big compound, fuel for my jet. Can go pretty quick.
Yeah, that could drain it pretty fast.
Well, your electrical bill is $6,000 for yesterday. It's like, oh no, I need to rethink what I want to do.
Then soon you're going to be calling like different family and friends, be like, "Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. You can't use your electricity. Hey, bye."
Yeah. It's potluck. Everyone bring their own
Yeah.
electric. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what I would do.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's do another joiner question, or not question, but response.
Oh, and I would also ship all the maracujá from Brazil to my homeland here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I would make it worldwide. Because
The worldwide fruit. Worldwide.
Man, when I went to Brazil, like passion fruit is my favorite fruit. And I go down to Brazil, there's like 45 different ways that they serve you passion fruit.
Yeah.
And I go here and I search Google, it's like passion fruit near me. 2 results. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh yeah.
Son
How
of a
was
gun.
that? How was that passion fruit juice that you got that was supposedly real?
That's
Does
what
it
I'm
taste
drinking
real?
right now. That's what
Yeah.
I'm drinking right now. It's good.
And
It's
is it good?
It's good. It's not Brazil maracujá, but it is pretty tasty.
Pretty tasty.
Very
Glad to hear it, man.
nice.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So, unsorted dad jokes, aka Travis Pospisil, aka Travis
AKA.
Popsicle.
There you go.
Yeah. He says, I never want to be rich because it destroys people. I'm comfortable with what I already have. However, if I had that kind of cash, I'd probably step up to regular Pop-Tarts instead of the generic.
living large.
Living the dream.
Go big or go home.
It's true. Like, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
you get into a bunch of money, you suddenly want more money and all of the things that come with it, and it kind of overshadows all the important things in life. So
And then all them fake friends pop out of the woodwork and never leave you alone. People find out you have billions of dollars or $1 billion.
See, that's why I would never want to win the lottery, because like they make that public.
Yeah.
They tell everybody that you're the winner, and so you have all these people coming out of the woodwork and everything that like, I want to help
Do
people.
you have to? Can you do it? You can do it anonymously, right?
Nope. They put it out there.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. At least here in Virginia, yeah, they do. They put it out
I think
there.
No
you gotta
secrets.
I think if you have
No
a
secrets
ticket,
in Virginia.
you have to go to a lawyer first to
Yeah.
do it anonymously.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I totally get what you're saying there, Travis. Certainly if I were to come into that much money, I would need to keep myself as grounded as possible. Because I have no idea what that would do to me. And so that's why it would be important to me, first and foremost, like, and I think I've mentioned this in discussions we've had about this before. I would love to go to different churches, like super small churches, that like their budget is like so little, but I mean they work great with what they have. They work within their means. But like, what would happen if I just gave them $1 million? Like, what could they do with that?
Right.
what opportunities would open up to share the gospel, to serve, all of that kind of stuff. If they didn't have any sort of burden on them in terms of paying bills and things like that. And just do that with smaller churches, because like mega churches, they've got that kind of money. I mean, not like billions, but they've got that kind of money where they have big programs and things like that. But just thinking about what those smaller churches that are more abundant could do with that kind of money, would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
And so that's why if I were to ever get $1 billion, immediately the first thing would be giving it back to God in some portion. Whether that be, my home church or different churches, different ministries, missionaries. Wink, wink, Lucas. People like that, just trying to help them as much as possible. But even with that, like, that's still a bunch of money. So
yeah,
I would want to live. I would want to get a couple of houses, but I wouldn't want to get like super huge mansions, where like you have 90 rooms and you could be 100 years old and there's a room that you have not been in the entire time you've been alive. That's just not me. Now, could I have multiple homes in multiple places? Sure. Like I'd like to have one in New York City. Just to go visit there and spend some time there for just a little while, just enough until I get really tired of city living, and then I can go off elsewhere.
Yeah, just Airbnb it, and then you can pay for itself.
Yeah. Have one place in New York, one place in Florida. Obviously, I would help my family out, pay off any debts that they have, any debts that I have, anything like that. If there was a way we could have everybody close together, my family, Kristen's family, all that family together, that would be fantastic. But we wouldn't necessarily have to live in like super extravagant homes, but just have everybody together and be comfortable, and not be burdened. That kind of stuff would be fantastic. Obviously, I'd be doing plenty of splurging, go to places that I've been wanting to go all my life. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to England. I want to go to Australia. I don't know that there's. I mean, I would love to go other places like the Netherlands and Egypt and stuff like that, but like I'm okay with not going there. I just know ones that like I really want to see are England, Ireland, and Japan and Australia. And spend time there. I'm not big on like expensive cars, like sports cars or anything like that. Would it be cool to drive? Sure. But like half the time I wouldn't use it. Not half the time, like 90% of the time, I wouldn't be using it to its full potential. Because like most times when you buy sports cars, you buy them to go fast. And I'm not the kind of person that likes fast cars. So I would definitely get a Tesla, because that's my favorite current day car. And I can hear everybody like, oh man, Tesla, that's like shooting low. I'm like, well, it's got all these cool bells and whistles in it that I really like. So,
I think you can play Skyrim in a Tesla. So,
which I wouldn't play, but I would also get.
Guy's got a dream.
So I don't know if you've heard about this, but the DeLorean is making a comeback this year.
Oh.
Yeah. and
Good
they're coming
choice.
back as an electric vehicle.
I feel like you would have like all the Batmobiles that you would drive around.
Yeah, that's a good
Just
point.
drive around the Batmobile.
Yeah. The
Oh,
89
that'd be great.
Batmobile, just get in there and just drive to McDonald's. I don't
Half of
know.
them aren't street legal, but you know,
Hey,
yeah,
Hey,
I
you
got
can
them.
make it street legal.
you
Yeah,
got enough. You got enough money. You can pay off the cops. Like, hey, I'm just driving this around. Just look the other way.
yeah. I would get my wife a super huge library because she absolutely loves libraries, like old school looking libraries with
Yeah.
old books, and things like that. Um, Trying to think what else. Obviously, we'd be getting all the gaming stuff, like top of the
Of course.
line type stuff. I would be very much into more of a full time capacity like you, Lucas, of streaming and podcasting and helping other streamers and podcasters, um, and all of that kind of stuff. I think that's about it for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd wanna travel and all that kind of stuff, and um, but like I'm very much the kind of person that, like, even if I had the money, like, I wouldn't go super duper extravagant with it. Um, I would try to live in somewhat of a modest home, and things like that. Now, multiple homes, sure, but yeah, I would try to live somewhat modestly because I don't want to. I don't want a huge mansion. I want to be able to use the rooms that I have, um, and and actually have it feel like a home. So, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Something
that's
else I was wondering about for you, Mark. Would you want to do anything revolving around music, like more full time or more creative, writing music? I don't
yeah.
know,
I would love
starting a
to.
band,
I don't know about starting a band, but like
like not like
starting.
a yeah, let's rock it out with Mark,
Yeah,
Marky and Mark and the Funky Bunch, the Return.
I would have more time to focus on songwriting and creating specifically songs for the local church
Yeah.
and things like that. Congregational worship music, all that kind of stuff, and so I would be able to invest in myself and other songwriters that have that same ambition. Maybe start some
Mm-hmm.
sort of a not a label, just because labels. It feels like labels are kind of falling out of touch. I mean, there's
Yeah.
still major record labels out there, but in terms of that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, it's just more like a songwriting group, if you will, that's specifically tasked with writing songs for the local church. I definitely would want to invest back in music in local schools because that's where I got my start. Um,
That's a good one.
just because, like, so many schools you hear today, like, the first thing they cut is music education, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really sad thing. Especially, like, I would invest back in my high school, because I got so much from my time there in the music program at my school. There's a lot of things that they could use, that they would need, like a whole new amphitheater, like multi-purpose kind of thing for putting on all the shows that they do and things like that. Um, maybe scholarships of some kind, for music and things like that. Um, yeah, I would love to do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cool.
yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm not like super outlandish. Every once in a while I'll do a major splurge, but
Now, would either of you like work?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Like what
Like,
was
what
like
would be your
I
working condition, like
yeah.
circumstance?
I don't. I think my work would be, and I didn't mention it, but you guys mentioned it. But podcasting full time. whether that's covering news, going to cons or E3s or PlayStation experiences or whatever they are, and covering that. I think that would be fun to do. That I wouldn't do what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be like, hey, I just need a part-time tutoring gig. Like, no, like I want to, if I'm going to work, it's going to be something that I want to do. And if it's not something I can go to some company and work it for and have the flexibleness, I would have to be my own boss. Or it would be like the GMG studios, like kind of thing, where it's just like, hey, we're our own bosses, and we're gonna have our own podcast. We're gonna have our own, employees. We'll just run a business or something. I don't know what all that be, but I think that would be really, really fun.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
Have that cash outlay of $1 billion. If all three of us,
$3 billion.
It's like, really,
snap.
I mean, how much do you really need to get the podcast up and running? Not too much, but I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be really fun to do this full time.
Absolutely. Well, we do have, I believe, one more joiner comment, and that is from our good friend Chris the Rock, Chris Kerwin. He literally says, I would buy 6% of Sony.
There you go.
Not a bad move.
6% of Sony.
All right.
How much would that take? Like to buy would that be all the whole billion? No, right?
Well, let's see what their
what are they worth?
Estimated worth is.
I don't think I would do anything with really do, like I said at the top, like I would do whatever it would take to get like that 3% interest that Patrick was talking about. Just do something super safe. I don't want to buy a company. I don't want to run a company.
If you save $1 million or $100 million out of the $1 billion, right, you set it aside and get 1% interest, you get $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So
that's good. I'm good with that.
I think I could live off of that.
Like just for personal use, and then I have the $900 million other dollars to do whatever with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So Sony's estimated market capital is $130 billion.
Can you even do 6% of Sony with $1 billion? It's 130 billion. That math doesn't sound right.
It's less than 6%.
Dang, that's less than a percent.
Less than a percent. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
cool.
Good luck, Chris. I don't know who you're gonna have to rob, or how you're gonna come up with that other 5.5% of money to get 6%. But good luck. Good luck. We wish you good luck.
Take luck.
No, it would be great to. I love Sony too. I would want to invest in them, but I probably wouldn't in real life.
Yeah. You already kind of do.
I mean, yeah, it's true. It's true.
Your life is invested.
Yeah.
Yep. That's Sony pony living.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that's about it with our $1 billion bonanza.
All right.
Ooh.
$1 billion bonanzas up and out of here. Housekeeping, of course, and as always, offer towels, fluff pillars, topped with Andy's candies, and tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. The GMG stream team is on and crack-a-lacking. Chris has got every early AM. I've got most late AM, sometimes afternoon, and then Marcus has got every Saturday morning for the time being, probably continuing that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So, we got you covered. Come join us on twitch.tv where we're playing lots of different games. Zelda games, Horizon Forbidden West games, random games, Contra games, you name it. We got it. But if stream is not your thing, you can tweet with us on Twitter or discourse with us on Discord. And then finally, if you're the given type, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify. Helps us reach new joiners, whether you give stars, exclamation marks, feedback, or an encouraging word, we would love for your voice to be heard.
Indeed.
All righty then. Pat. Oh, Pat man. No. Pat man. Marcus Aurelius and the spirit of Ronnie J, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.